Poor Rachel, still alone at 29. I got the ring, the views, the penthouse. My sister Brianna's words echoed through the private family room at the Emerald View Hotel, where just hours from now, we'd host our mother's memorial charity gala. She stood there in her designer black cocktail dress, a cruel smile on her lips, while her fiancé Tyler shifted uncomfortably behind her. I took a slow breath, my fingers tightening around the speech I'd been reviewing. The speech about Mom. About her final wish to raise money for cancer research. About how she'd spent her last months hoping her daughters would reconcile. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start where it really began. 3 years ago, I thought I had everything figured out. I was 26, newly promoted to senior marketing manager at a mid-sized tech firm in Seattle and engaged to Tyler Brennan. He was charming, successful in real estate development, and had proposed to me on a sunset cruise around Puget Sound. My half-sister Brianna, who was 23 at the time, had been ecstatic. Or so I thought. Brianna and I had always had a complicated relationship. We shared a father but had different mothers. Dad had left my mom when I was 5 to be with Brianna's mother, so there was always this underlying tension. But Mom had raised me to be the bigger person, to embrace my sister despite the circumstances. And I tried. I really did. When I introduced Brianna to Tyler at a family barbecue, she seemed genuinely happy for me. She kept complimenting him, asking him questions about his business, posting pictures of us together on her lifestyle blog with captions like, "My gorgeous sister," and "her amazing fiancé." She had about 30,000 followers back then, mostly through carefully curated posts about Seattle's coffee culture, boutique shopping, and her aspirational lifestyle. "You're so lucky, Rach," she told me one afternoon while we were dress shopping. I was looking for bridesmaid dresses, and she'd insisted on coming along. "Tyler is such a catch. Smart, successful, handsome. You better hold on to him." I'd laughed it off, not catching the edge in her voice. Looking back now, I can see all the signs I missed. The way her eyes lingered on him a little too long, how she always found reasons to text him directly, instead of going through me. The subtle put-downs disguised as concern. "Are you sure that dress is flattering? Or maybe you should hit the gym more if you want Tyler to stay interested." 6 months before the wedding, I came home early from a conference. I was excited because I'd just landed a major client, and I wanted to surprise Tyler with the good news. He'd said he was working late at a construction site, reviewing plans. His car was in our apartment parking lot. My stomach dropped, but I told myself there was a reasonable explanation. Maybe the site visit got cancelled. Maybe he'd forgotten something and came back. I walked into our apartment and heard voices. Laughter. From our bedroom. My hand shook as I pushed open the door. Tyler was sitting on our bed, laptop open, Brianna curled up next to him in one of my old sweatshirts. They weren't touching. Not quite. But the intimacy was unmistakable. They were looking at something on the screen, giggling like teenagers. "Rachel." Tyler jumped up, his face flushing. "I didn't expect you back until tomorrow." Brianna's expression was harder to read. Surprise, yes. But underneath it, something that looked almost like satisfaction. "What's going on?" I asked, my voice steady despite the earthquake happening inside my chest. "Nothing," Tyler said too quickly. "Brianna just stopped by to drop off some wedding planning stuff, and we were looking at venue options for her blog's anniversary party." At 8 o'clock at night. On our bed. Brianna stood up, smoothing down the sweatshirt. "Don't be paranoid, Rachel. We're going to be family. Is it so weird that Tyler and I are friends?" But I'd seen Tyler's laptop screen in that split second before he'd slammed it shut. It wasn't venue photos. It was a text thread. Between them, "Show me your phone," I said to Tyler. "What?" "Rachel, come on. Show me your phone." The silence stretched like taffy. Brianna bit her lip, and for a moment, I saw something flicker across her face. Guilt, maybe. Or fear of getting caught. Tyler's jaw clenched. "You don't trust me?" "Not anymore." He pulled out his phone, but his thumb was already moving, deleting. I watched him do it, watched the panic in his eyes, and I knew. I didn't need to see the messages to know. "Get out," I said to Brianna. "Rachel. Seriously, you're being crazy. Get out." She grabbed her purse and left, but not before shooting Tyler a look I couldn't quite decipher. For the next week, Tyler swore up and down that nothing had happened. They were just friends. I was overreacting. Stress from wedding planning was making me paranoid. He even suggested I talk to a therapist about my trust issues. I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to believe him so badly. So I tried. I pushed down the sick feeling in my gut and focused on the wedding, now just 5 months away. But Brianna started pulling away. She stopped responding to my texts about bridesmaid dress fittings. She posted less about my wedding on her blog. When I confronted her, she said she was just busy with her own life. Then, 3 months before the wedding, Mom got diagnosed. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. The doctors gave her 6 months, maybe a year with treatment. Everything else fell away. Tyler was supportive at first, driving me to Mom's appointments, holding me when I cried. But as the weeks went on, he became distant. I need space, he said. This is a lot for me too. I was too tired, too heartbroken about Mom to fight for a relationship that was clearly dying. 2 months before the wedding, I called it off. Tyler seemed almost relieved. 3 weeks later, Brianna posted a photo on her blog. Her hand, with a diamond ring. The caption: "Sometimes the best things happen when you least expect them. Number, engaged number. Love wins." The ring looked familiar. Too familiar. I called her. She didn't pick up. I texted. No response. Finally, I drove to her apartment. Tyler opened the door. The look on his face told me everything. "Rachel, I can explain. How long?" My voice came out as a whisper. "It just happened. After you called off the wedding, we both needed someone." "How long?" Brianna appeared behind him, her hand possessively on his shoulder. "Does it matter? You didn't want him anymore." "I did. He chose me." "Before I called it off?" She shrugged. "You were never enough for him, Rach. Always working, always focused on your career. Tyler needs someone who makes him a priority. Who makes him feel special. You're my sister. Half-sister," she corrected. "And maybe if you'd been less selfish, less obsessed with being Dad's favorite, you'd have noticed Tyler wasn't happy. I left before I said something I'd regret. Or before I broke down crying in front of them. For months, I threw myself into work and taking care of Mom. The cancer was aggressive, and the treatments were brutal. I slept on a cot in her hospital room more nights than I slept in my own bed. I held her hand through the pain, read to her when she couldn't sleep, and tried to stay strong when all I wanted was to scream at the unfairness of it all." Brianna visited twice. Both times for less than an hour. Both times, she spent most of the visit on her phone, posting about her difficult journey supporting family through illness while Mom dozed in and out of consciousness. "Don't hate your sister," Mom whispered to me one night, her voice thin and papery. "She's lost, Rachel. She's been competing with you her whole life, trying to prove she's worthy of love. Forgive her. Promise me you'll try." I promised, but I didn't mean it. Not really. While I was watching my mother die, my career unexpectedly took off. The client I'd landed before discovering the affair turned into a massive account. I got promoted to VP of Marketing. My salary nearly doubled. I bought a small house in Fremont. Nothing fancy, but mine. And I met James Morrison. It was at a tech conference downtown. I was giving a presentation on innovative digital marketing strategies for startups. He was in the audience, a venture capitalist known for his keen eye for promising companies and his ethical investment approach. Tall, quiet, with silver threading through his dark hair despite being only 35. After my presentation, he approached me. "That was impressive. Would you be interested in getting coffee? I have some ideas I'd like to discuss." Coffee turned into lunch. Lunch turned into dinner a week later. Dinner turned into weekend hikes around the Cascades. Conversations that lasted until 3 in the morning, and a connection that felt different from anything I'd experienced with Tyler. James had lost his younger sister to leukemia 5 years earlier. He understood grief, understood the weight of watching someone you love fade away. He never rushed me, never demanded more than I could give. He just showed up, steady and present. 6 months into our relationship, Mom's condition deteriorated rapidly. The hospice nurse said it would be weeks, maybe days. I spent every moment I could with her. James brought me food, made sure I slept, held me when the tears finally came. One afternoon, while Mom was sleeping, James and I sat in the hospital cafeteria, picking at terrible sandwiches. "I ran into someone from your past yesterday," he said carefully. "Tyler Brennan." My head snapped up. "Where?" At a business pitch meeting. He was trying to get funding for a new development project in Belltown. And James's expression was grim. The numbers didn't add up. Overly optimistic projections, questionable financing structure, unrealistic timelines. I passed. Is that usual? For his projects? I made some calls afterward. James hesitated. Rachel, his company is struggling. That Belltown project was essentially a Hail Mary. Without major funding, he's looking at some serious debt. I should have felt satisfaction. I didn't. I just felt tired. He mentioned he was engaged, James continued, to someone named Brianna. He didn't seem happy about it. 2 weeks later, Mom died. It was quiet, peaceful. She slipped away in her sleep with me holding her hand. Her last words, whispered that morning, were, "Love each other, please, girls. Love each other." I called Brianna. She didn't answer. I texted, "Mom's gone." She responded 3 hours later. "Okay. Let me know about the service." Mom had requested a memorial service followed by a charity gala, with all proceeds going to pancreatic cancer research. "Make something good come from this," she'd written in her letter. "Help others, and let it bring you and your sister together." I threw myself into planning it. The Emerald View Hotel, the best caterers, a silent auction with items donated from all of Mom's friends and colleagues. James donated $100,000 anonymously and helped me recruit other donors from his network. The night before the memorial, I was in the hotel's private family room, reviewing my speech about Mom. I'd written and rewritten it a dozen times, trying to capture who she was, what she meant, how much I'd miss her. The door burst open. Brianna stood there, Tyler behind her, both dressed to the nines. Her black cocktail dress was low-cut and expensive, diamonds at her throat and wrists. Tyler wore a designer suit that probably cost more than my car payment. "There you are," Brianna said. "We've been looking for you." "The memorial doesn't start for another hour," I said, setting down my speech. "And the gala isn't until tonight." "I know. I wanted to talk to you. Privately." She glanced at Tyler. "Baby, wait outside?" He looked relieved to escape and left, closing the door behind him. Brianna circled the room, running her fingers along the back of the chairs set up for the service. "Nice venue. Mom would have loved it. You barely visited her." "I was busy. Building my life. My brand. You wouldn't understand." "Your brand?" "Mom was dying, Brianna." She whirled around, and for the first time, I saw something raw in her expression. "You think you're so perfect, don't you? Saint Rachel, taking care of Mom, giving up everything. Meanwhile, I'm the villain for actually living my life." "I never said that. You didn't have to." She moved closer. "You know what the worst part was? Growing up knowing Dad chose you. Mom number one had the first daughter, the perfect daughter. Smart, kind, successful. Then there was me. The daughter from the affair. The mistake. Brianna. Do you know how many times Dad canceled plans with me because he was doing something with you? How many times I heard him brag about your accomplishments while barely mentioning mine? I spent my whole life trying to be good enough, and it was never enough." For a moment, I saw her clearly. Not as the villain who stole my fiancé, but as a scared, lonely girl who'd spent her life feeling second best. Then she smiled, and the moment shattered. "But I won in the end, didn't I?" Her voice turned sharp. "I got Tyler. We're engaged. We're building a life together. Are you happy?" The question seemed to catch her off guard. "What? Are you happy, Brianna? Truly happy?" She lifted her chin. "Of course I am. Tyler loves me. We have a beautiful penthouse, well, it's rented, but still. My blog is growing. I have 60,000 followers now. Sponsors are reaching out. I got everything I wanted. You got my leftovers." Her eyes flashed. "He chose me. He proposed to me. That ring?" She thrust her hand forward, showing off the diamond. "He picked it out for me. Not you." "That's the ring he gave me," I said quietly. "He just had it resized." I watched the truth hit her. The way her confident smile faltered. But she recovered quickly, armor snapping back into place. "At least I have someone," she said, her voice rising. "What do you have, Rachel? Your precious job? Your little house? You're going to be 30 in a few months. And you're all alone. No ring. No wedding. No future. She stepped closer, her voice dropping to a vicious whisper. Poor Rachel, still alone at 29. I got the ring, the views, the penthouse. She paused for effect. Mom would be so disappointed in you. The door opened before I could respond. James stood in the doorway, his presence filling the room. He wore a dark suit, his expression calm but his eyes sharp as they took in the scene. Am I interrupting? He asked mildly. Brianna's eyes widened slightly as she took him in. Tall, distinguished, clearly successful from the cut of his suit to his confident bearing. Who are you? She demanded. I stood up, my heart steadying. Brianna, this is James Morrison. My fiancé. Your what? James crossed the room and took my hand, his thumb brushing reassuringly over my knuckles. It's nice to finally meet you, he said to Brianna. Rachel's told me a lot about you. Behind Brianna, Tyler had appeared in the doorway. His face went white. Morrison, he said, his voice strangled. James Morrison? Tyler. James's greeting was cool. Interesting to see you here. Brianna looked between them, confusion clouding her face. You two know each other. Tyler's mouth opened and closed like a fish. No sound came out. We've met, James said. Tyler pitched me a development project a few months ago. The Belltown luxury condos? And? Brianna turned to Tyler, her voice sharp with sudden anxiety. Tyler wouldn't meet her eyes. I passed, James said simply. The financials weren't sound. Too much risk, not enough substance. I watched Brianna's face change as understanding dawned. Her confident smile cracked. Her hands, the left one still thrust forward to display her ring, began to tremble. You're the James Morrison, she whispered. Morrison Ventures? That's right. But Tyler said the investor who turned him down was just being overcautious. He said the project was solid, that other investors were lining up. Were there other investors? James asked Tyler gently. Silence. Tyler? Brianna's voice climbed higher. Tell him about the other investors. There weren't any, Tyler finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. Morrison was our last shot. When he passed, the whole project collapsed. The bank called in our construction loans. We're in debt. Bri. Serious debt. How much debt? 2 million. Brianna swayed slightly. 2. But you said we were fine. You said your business was booming. The penthouse is being foreclosed on next month. The car leased. And 3 months behind on payments. My ring. Tyler's silence was answer enough. Brianna's face drained of color. Her carefully constructed facade, the designer dress, the diamond jewelry, the confident smile, all of it crumbled like a sandcastle hit by a wave. She looked young suddenly, terrified, lost. Her hands were shaking so badly now that the ring caught the light, sending fractured rainbows across the wall. But you said. Her voice broke. You promised we'd have everything, the life I wanted. You said. I know what I said. Tyler snapped. Then immediately looked guilty. I'm sorry. I thought I could fix it. I thought if I could just land one more deal. Brianna turned to me, and for a moment, I saw the little girl who'd grown up feeling second best. The woman who'd built her entire identity on appearances. On winning, on having what I had. You knew, she whispered. When you introduced him as your fiancé, you knew Tyler was struggling. You knew I'd freeze? I supplied gently. Yes. I knew you'd recognize James's name. I knew you'd realize what it meant. So this was your revenge. Tears gathered in her eyes, mascara starting to smudge. You set this up. You wanted to humiliate me, at Mom's memorial. No, I said, and I meant it. I didn't set anything up, Brianna. I met James because I focused on my career instead of wallowing in what you took from me. I'm with him because we connect, because he understands loss, because he's genuine in ways Tyler never was. I stood up, moving closer to my sister. Tyler's business failing has nothing to do with me. That's just karma. Or consequences. Or bad business decisions. Take your pick. But you're happy about it. She was crying now, mascara running in dark streaks. You're happy I'm suffering. I'm not, I said, surprised to find it was true. I just don't care anymore. You can't hurt me now, Brianna. You already did your worst. James squeezed my hand. The memorial starts in 30 minutes, he said quietly. Perhaps we should all get ready. Tyler practically fled the room. Brianna stood there for another moment, her shoulders shaking with silent sobs. For what it's worth, I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry Dad made you feel less than. I'm sorry you thought you needed to compete with me. I'm sorry you built your whole life on a lie. Are you sorry you won? She asked bitterly. I didn't win, Brianna. We both lost. We lost Mom. We lost our chance to be real sisters. We lost time we can't get back. She wiped at her face, smearing mascara further. Mom wanted us to reconcile. I know. She made me promise to try. Before she. At the end. When you weren't there. That stung more than I expected. There had been a moment when I wasn't there. When I'd gone home to shower and change. Mom must have known she was close to the end. What did she say? I asked softly. She said I was worthy of love without having to steal it. That I was enough, just as I was. That she was proud of me, even if she hadn't always shown it. Brianna's voice cracked. She said to fix things with you before it was too late. We stood there in silence, the air thick with years of resentment, jealousy, betrayal, and underneath it all, a fragile thread of shared grief. I don't forgive you, I said finally. Not yet. Maybe not ever. What you did was cruel. Unforgivable, even. Brianna nodded, still crying. But I want to honor Mom's memory. So here's what I'm willing to do. After the memorial, after the gala, after tonight is over, you can call me. If you've done the work, if you've gotten therapy, figured out why you did what you did, worked on yourself. If you're genuinely sorry, not just sorry you got caught, then maybe, someday, we can try again. As sisters. And if I don't do the work, then we're done. Permanently. She searched my face, looking for something. Forgiveness, maybe. Or permission. Or just understanding. I'll do it, she whispered. The work. The therapy. All of it. Then there's hope, I said. Not today. But someday. The memorial service was beautiful. I gave my speech about Mom, about her strength, her grace, her capacity for forgiveness. I didn't look at Brianna during it, but I could hear her crying in the front row. The charity gala raised over $500,000 for pancreatic cancer research. James's $100,000 donation was matched by 3 other investors from his network. Brianna and Tyler left early. I watched them go, him with his head down, her with her shoulders hunched, both of them smaller somehow than when they'd arrived. 2 months later, I got a text from Brianna. Started therapy. It's hard. But I'm doing it. For Mom. And for me. I didn't respond. Not yet. But I saved the message. Because maybe, just maybe, there was a future where we could be sisters again. Not today, not tomorrow. But someday, when the wounds had healed enough to become scars instead of open bleeding gashes. James and I got married 6 months later in a small ceremony at a vineyard in Woodinville. It was intimate, genuine, filled with people who actually loved us. Brianna wasn't there. I'd sent her an invitation, but she texted back, not ready yet. But thank you for asking. Congratulations. Tyler and Brianna broke up 3 months after Mom's memorial. I heard through mutual friends that she'd moved to Portland, started over with a new job in marketing, deleted her lifestyle blog, and was genuinely working on herself. I hoped it was true. A year after Mom died, on the anniversary of her death, I visited her grave. There was already a bouquet there. Fresh roses, Mom's favorite. The card read, I'm sorry I didn't visit more. I'm trying to be better. I love you, Brianna. I added my flowers next to hers. My phone buzzed. A text from Brianna. Are you at the cemetery? I just left. I looked around, but she was already gone. I texted back. I saw your flowers. They're beautiful. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, coffee sometime? No pressure. Just. Maybe we could try. I stood there in the cemetery, surrounded by stone markers and memories, holding my phone as the Seattle drizzle started to fall. Mom had wanted us to love each other. To try. I typed, maybe. Let's start with coffee and see where it goes. Because revenge wasn't about making someone suffer. It was about living so well that their betrayal became irrelevant. And forgiveness wasn't about forgetting or excusing. It was about opening a door just a crack and seeing if someone was willing to do the work to walk through it. I got into my car and drove home to James, to the life I'd built from the ashes of betrayal. A life that was mine, earned through grief and growth and choosing myself. And if Brianna did the work, if she became someone worthy of sisterhood again, then maybe that door could open wider. But only if. Only when. Only after the work was done. Because I'd learned something important through all of this. You can't steal someone's happiness. You can only steal their illusions. And when those illusions shatter, you're left holding broken glass, wondering why your hands are bleeding. Brianna had wanted my life. But my life wasn't Tyler, or a ring or a wedding. It was choosing myself. Building myself back up. Becoming someone I was proud to be. And that was something no one could ever take from me.
Don't pity me. My heart doesn't need your mercy. I can still stand on my own. I was broken by your leaving, fell deeper than I thought I would. But pain has taught me how to heal now and survive what once I couldn't. You don't have to look back sadly, don't reach out with guilty hands. What you shattered made me stronger. Now I rise where I once collapsed. My heart doesn't need your pity, not another empty sign. I've got enough strength left within me to rebuild this life of mine. My feet are steady through the sorrow. I can stand through all the pain. You don't have to save me, darling. I'll learn to breathe again. I once begged for your affection. Now I've learned my worth in scars. And the man you left in pieces found his own way through the dark. My heart doesn't need your pity, not another empty sign. I've got enough strength left within me to rebuild this life of mine. My feet are steady through the sorrow. I can stand through all the pain. You don't have to save me, darling. I'll learn to breathe again. My heart doesn't need your pity, not another empty sign. I've got enough strength left within me to rebuild this life of mine. My feet are steady through the sorrow. I can stand through all the pain. You don't have to save me, darling. I'll rise alone again. I'll rise alone again.
They say just forget. Move on like it's easy. But forgetting you feels like remembering someone I've never seen. I've been trying to erase you from the places in my mind, but the harder that I fight it, the more you're hard to leave behind. Every memory keeps slipping through the cracks I try to close, like a face I should remember, but somehow never know. Forgetting you feels impossible, like chasing something I can't hold, like trying to remember someone that I've never even known. I keep reaching through the silence for a past I can't undo, 'cause letting go of what we had feels like losing something true. Every moment turns to fragments, every thought just fades to blue, like I'm searching for a feeling that still only leads to you. Forgetting you feels impossible, like chasing something I can't hold, like trying to remember someone that I've never even known. I keep reaching through the silence for a past I can't undo, 'cause letting go of what we had feels like losing something true. If I never met you, maybe I would know just how to heal. But now every empty moment still reminds me what is real. Forgetting you feels impossible, like chasing something I can't hold, like trying to remember someone that I've never even known. I keep reaching through the silence for a past I can't undo, 'cause letting go of what we had feels like losing something true.